Back, a bipartisan group of state lawmakers wants to expand online sports gambling. Currently, sports gambling is only allowed in tribal casinos that offer it. The United Nation, the first to build a sports book in the state, that opened back in November of 2022. A proposed bill would expand that to online gambling anywhere in the state, but with the servers anchored on tribal lands to comply with Wisconsin law. Online sports betting produced a record $13.7 billion in revenue in 2024. We welcome you into our Fox Valley Bureau alongside Senator Kristen Dassler-Alfheim. She is one of the co-authors of this bill in the Senate. And your co-author in the Senate, just like in the Assembly with two co-authors, we have one from each party. So there's a lot of bipartisan push on this bill. What kind of traction do you think it's going to have once you introduce it this week?
I think it's going to do well. Again, in Wisconsin, we definitely do embrace the gambling culture. This is one of the small things that we can show that we are willing to work together across the aisle and just improve the rules so that people can utilize the online gambling access from their home instead of just on the tribal property. All
right, we'll get to that part of the culture thing, and is it a good idea to expand that culture in just a second. But where does the governor on this? Have you sent out some feelers to the governor's office on this? Because I'm sure he would take notice of this bipartisan support.
Yeah, my understanding is that he'll be supportive of the concept.
Okay. Next question would be, the tribes need to be supportive of this concept. So as this bill was crafted, did you reach out to the tribes to gauge this? Because I'm assuming you don't float a trial balloon if they're saying no thank you.
Yeah, this is definitely for the tribes. We reached out, Ho-Chunk specifically was in great contact with us with a lot of detail. But I think that all of the tribes, again, they'll be involved in the negotiation of the contract and adjusting the compact. So it is done with them and for them, not in spite of them.
Okay, so is there any pushback on their part? Because they have spent some money putting the in-person stuff in their casinos, that this would keep people out of those casinos because you just make it so easy to gamble from wherever you are.
I haven't heard that.
Okay.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but no one from a tribe or otherwise has reached out about that concern specifically.
All right, so the expansion of gambling, you're always going to have people on both sides of this issue, just like any issue.
Yep.
But recent headlines would suggest we're concerned about it, right, with what's happened in the NBA. But also, there's the concern of making it easier for people that it shouldn't be easy for. How do you answer that?
Yeah, the reality is it is at everyone's fingertips at all times in Wisconsin. Anybody that wants to be online gambling has access via outskirt options, which really puts them in jeopardy.
Some of those which are being sued.
Absolutely, which puts them in jeopardy in terms of no consumer backing from the state. So the reality is professionals need to be professionals. Integrity needs to take place. If you are in the sports industry, you certainly should not be involved in that. From the standpoint of the consumer, again, this is access programs we've had for years. We're just allowing them to do it from their couch instead of going on site.
There's a lot of money at stake here. If this comes to fruition, who stands to benefit the most financially?
The tribes. The tribes initially, we don't really know exactly what it will mean, but we're assuming about a 10% uptick in revenues. That those compacts then go directly back to the taxpayers as well. So any increase that they have in revenue, there's a benefit that comes back to the state that then goes back into roads, education, healthcare, and that.
I was doing some reading on this, and if you look around at other states that have this, the thing that came to my mind was legalized marijuana, because we are an island right now in the Midwest with states around us that are taking revenue in from legalized marijuana, regardless of where you stand on the issue. That is a fact. Online gambling is everywhere around us except the state of Minnesota. So is this another attempt to say, listen, other people are doing it, the money is leaving Wisconsin, let's keep it here?
Yeah, I mean, 37 states already have this process. Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico. So we really are in the minority. And once again, it is accessible outside of Wisconsin, but not in. Like it or not, it is a popular tool that people want to enjoy, and why not at least be able to keep that revenue in the state?
Do you have an idea, a ballpark of what kind of money is leaving the state for this?
We can guess on the revenue that would come back to the state, again, as about a 10% revenue. So I've seen something in the realm of 66 to 100 million, somewhere in there.
Leaving the state to go elsewhere. Okay, so next steps on this. Right now, this hasn't even been put on the floor.
Right.
That is expected to happen this week?
Yeah, so it's been floated for co-sponsorship at this point. Once that process is completed, then it will be given a committee assignment, which will then open it up to public hearing. At that point, any changes that may take place, then the majority will have the option of taking it to the floor or not.
Given the support that you have at the infancy stage of this. I mean, let's be honest, we're at the infancy stage of this. But given the support and what you said you've heard from the tribes, if all goes well, when do you think you could take this across the finish line?
The Senate schedule is a little thin. I think we
That's
have.
another story.
Yep, that's another story. But I believe we have our next floor date will be sometime in November.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that we get it done quick enough to get it on the floor in November for a pass.
Senator, thanks so much for the time.
Always a pleasure.
And we did ask Governor Evers about this, if he would support this legislation should it reach his desk. He was in Green Bay this afternoon.
If it's, I'd have to see the bill. I'd have to see the
Would
bill.
allow as long as it's from the tribal
Correct.
servers and stuff.
Correct.
But you don't have a position at this point?
No,
or?
not till I see it, but clearly the tribal nations in Wisconsin are the ones that are working in that angle and probably should stay there.